Hello and good evening. My name is James Lewis. I am the Executive Director for the New York City Bar Office of Diversity and Inclusion. I'd like to welcome you to this year's Diversity Champion Award celebration. A little bit different than the way we've done it in the past, but we're in different times and we still want to hold time to celebrate our champion this year, Sapna Palla. So thank you for being with us today. I'd also like to extend a thank you to the Executive Director for the New York City Bar, Bret, as well as our President, Sheila, for all their hard work in making these endeavors continue to happen despite less than ideal circumstances. So again, thank you for being with us. You're in for an exciting event as we reflect on the accomplishments of our champion, as well as have remarks from others who have shared the same space as her and know all the great reasons that she deserves this award. So hang tight and enjoy the ride with us. Thanks so much.
Good evening. I'm Bret Parker, Executive Director of the New York City Bar Association. And I really have only three things that I want to mention: a congratulations, a thank you, and an invitation. First, congratulations to Sapna Palla on this well-deserved honor. I'm so happy for her. I've had the pleasure of working with her and the Asian American Bar Association on a number of initiatives. Second, thanks to the DEI Committee and Nomination Subcommittee, to VILLEGAS for leading the City Bar Fund, and Sheila for leading the association during truly challenging times. I'm so honored to work closely with such amazing, trailblazing women. And thanks to James Lewis, who has already become such an incredible member of our leadership team. Because of them and the rest of us staff, diversity, equity, and inclusion remains a critical area of focus for the City Bar. I can't let this occasion pass without mentioning the death of my dear friend and former City Bar President, Betsy Plevin. She was such a leader of our early diversity work, along with City Bar President Conrad Harper and others. She founded the City Bar's Office for Diversity and Inclusion, thought to be the first of its kind among bar associations in the country, and which drew over 100 signatories to its Statement of Diversity Principles just in its first year. So thanks to Betsy for helping to set us on the path of that unfinished work to creating a more inclusive profession and a more inclusive New York City Bar. Finally, an invitation: please get involved here at the City Bar, not just in our diversity work, but all of our efforts. I know I'm preaching to the choir, and many of you here already know about our 8 diversity committees or our nearly 150 committees covering everything from animal law to zoning. But please consider suggesting to a colleague that they join the City Bar and get involved. We truly want the entire legal profession involved in our work, and not just those who look like me. So thanks to all of you for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you in person very soon here at the City Bar. Thank you.
Hello and good evening. My name is Carol Villegas, and I serve as the chair for the New York City Bar Fund. I'm very happy to join you all today as we celebrate this year's winner of the New York City Bar Diversity Champion Award, Sapna Palla. The Diversity Champion Award has a long history of recognizing leaders within the profession who go above and beyond to support the noble work of diversity and inclusion. Historically, these leaders have been selected from all walks of the profession: in-house counsel, law firm attorneys, public sector practitioners, and others, with a unifying purpose of not only excelling professionally, but striving and committing to advancing diversity. This, of course, aligns with the principles of the New York City Bar and the Office of Diversity and Inclusion to tirelessly work towards creating a more representative and equitable profession. In what has no doubt been a very challenging year, we are pleased to continue the more than decades-long tradition of honoring the unique contributions of leaders of diversity. Each year, champions are selected who exemplify the diversity goals and diversity principles of the organization. In this regard, I want to extend a special thanks to you, the DEI Committee and the Nomination Subcommittee, for their hard work in reviewing a number of qualified and worthy applicants for the award, and for selecting this year's champion, a tough decision indeed. We are honored to present this award to Sapna in recognition of her professional achievements and long-standing commitment to diversity. The work of the office and of the bar would not be possible without the contributions of selfless leaders like Sapna, who dedicate their time and talent to serving the legal community. Congratulations to you, Sapna, and all of our past and future award recipients for their dedication, and to the Office of Diversity and Inclusion, and to the bar for making sure that we highlight and recognize those who give deeply of themselves to improve and grow this noble profession. Thank you for joining us as we continue this time-honored tradition of appreciation for those who empower others through service. Have a great evening, everyone.
Hello, my name is KAYLA Nicholas, and I'm a senior at Midwood High School in Brooklyn. This past summer, I was given the opportunity and privilege to work with DLA Piper for my internship, thanks to the Thurgood Marshall Internship Program sponsored by the New York City Bar Association. As an intern, my tasks varied from day to day. Some days I would be compiling documents for those in the finance group who were trying to either deal with mergers and acquisitions or allocation of funds between two parties. A lot of my work consisted of such tasks and getting documents in order for a lot of the attorneys I was working under. Other days really focused on research. I did a lot of high-level research and synthesis of said research. For some days, I would work for due diligence needs in various departments, and on other days, and for a long time, I was working in the employment group and doing a pseudo case study, trying to find and do research on past cases that would, when finding their precedents that were set by them, could aid in the attorney's current work. But my favorite part of the program was the fact that it was heavily coincided with the summer associate program that the law students were participating in at the time with DLA. I was able to attend a lot of Zoom meetings and informational sessions about the various practice groups within the firm, and it really opened up avenues when I was in my own thinking about law and what ventures could be had within the law itself. And to elaborate, prior to my participation in this program, I kind of had a very narrow mindset of what the law looked like, even in the finance world, but I was opened up to so many possibilities that I had no idea existed. For example, restructuring. I attended a meeting for the restructuring practice group, and in all honesty, before heading to that meeting, I had a full idea that we were going to be talking about construction or labor laws of the sort, but I was happily surprised to know that it was mostly focused on financing a company once it's gone bankrupt, which was something I couldn't have anticipated for, especially for not having a legal background or not having done this internship. Overall, my connections I made with DLA, with the summer associate program, with the lawyers I was fortunate enough to meet, even with my own boss, spoke values and really strengthened my networking and communication abilities, especially in the fact that we were in quarantine. Coronavirus pandemic is still had a huge impact on the extent that I was able to carry out and participate in this program, but the communication was there, and the bonds and relations I was able to make with those I met along the way is there and continues to remain to this day. But the biggest positive impact this program and my internship had on me was understanding what type of lawyer I want to be. Well, I don't really have a clear answer as to what type of law I want to work in, but I do understand what type of lawyer I want to be in terms of I want to help people, and I want to make sure I have a meaningful and significant impact in the lives of those I serve. And to share a brief anecdote, I was given a unique opportunity to work with a finance associate in a pro bono assignment, and it was to help a veteran gain compensation due to his injuries. And I was just supposed to compile documents, but in doing so, I had to read through a lot of what he went through, and I had to read through his life pre and post the war he experienced. And even though it was as mundane as just filing a couple documents, I really felt that in helping him, I was making a positive impact on, at least if this application went through, at least due to the fact that I was able to put these documents together for him. He would gain the compensation he deserved for his efforts in the war. And it really made me reflect and made me understand for myself that I want to be the type of lawyer who makes a profound impact on those I help. And it's thanks to the Thurgood Marshall program and my internship with DLA that I was able to accomplish that. So even though it was my first internship experience, it's extremely profound in so many ways than just being a first for me. So I'm completely indebted to DLA and to the Thurgood Marshall program for allowing me to experience it. Thank you.
Hi everybody, my name is Nicole. I am currently a senior at Brooklyn Technical High School, and I am so happy to be speaking to you as a Thurgood Marshall alumni. First of all, a huge thank you to the Office of Diversity and Inclusion at the New York City Bar. They are the people that have made it happen. They were there with me every step of the way, from writing my resume to looking the part for my interview, and it is because of them that I can tell you about my experience. So this summer, I had the opportunity to intern at Proskauer, which is a renowned law firm, and rightfully so, because they have incredible people, incredible resources, and incredible skills, and I'm so happy to have been part of their team. Upon arrival, I was overwhelmed by the amount of people that I was going to meet, and it was really scary at first. But my supervisor, Marissa, she was so proactive in making sure I felt comfortable and making sure that everyone that I was meeting would contribute something to my knowledge. So I've met with people who've interned with Mayor Bloomberg, so hearing that perspective was really cool. I've met with a lot of people from kind of that business transactional side of law, so people in human resources, and they kind of gave me that kind of perspective into the gears behind a law firm, and it was really incredible to see the things that they did in order to make the law firm work. Additionally, I met with a lot of litigants, which was amazing because a lot of them represent high profile companies such as Hulu, the NBA, the MLB. So it was really incredible to meet a lot of them. And one of the people that I've met is Margaret Dale, and she's a partner at the firm. And I've spoken to her about one of the cases that is very near and dear to me. Proskauer represents Puerto Rico in one of their pending cases, and I was actually born there, so it definitely meant a great deal to me to see that they were representing kind of my home state. In a case, and I'm really excited to see how it plays out in the future. I have no doubt that Proskauer will do amazing in representing Puerto Rico in their case. Additionally, I met with people who worked on cases pertaining to large companies that, we come in contact with daily. Target, Costco, T-Mobile, Hulu. So it's definitely been amazing to kind of see how their work actually contributes to my daily life, even though I did not know that before. So it was really incredible to see kind of that behind the scenes perspective as well. It was incredible to work with knowledge management. I updated a bunch of databases, so for judges, for arbitrators, for mediators, and I hope that the research will be able to contribute to lawyers when they're prepping for their cases in the future. And it definitely felt great to kind of contribute to their um, resources because it was really nice to see all that they had to offer me. So it was really nice to kind of offer something back in return. Additionally, I was able to attend so many trainings, and usually in them were law students and associates already at the firm. So it was a bit nerve-wracking, but everyone was so nice and everyone was so intelligent, so well spoken, and it definitely taught me a lot. So with everything that Proskauer has offered me, I've learned so much about law itself, but I've also learned about how to communicate better because they've shown me that law is not just that independent one lawyer type of situation. It's really a team effort. So they've taught me a lot about collaboration, about organization, about planning, about time management, about social etiquette, about networking. So it's really been incredible to work with them, and I really hope that I will be able to return to them in the future, and they've been such a big help in my future. Once again, this opportunity was given to me because of the New York City Bar's Office of Diversity and Inclusion. And for everyone that is going to participate in this program, I highly recommend it because it is the reason I am where I am today. I've met so many brilliant minds, and they have inspired me to aspire to be one of them in the future. And once again, I'm so grateful for this opportunity, and I wish anyone who takes it very good luck in their future.
I'm Terry Shen, President of the Asian American Bar Association of New York. With over 1,500 paid members, AABANY is the largest diverse bar association in the country. I'm also a partner at Kramer Levin, and I'm delighted to introduce my friend and colleague, Sapna Palla. Sapna is a partner in Allen and Overy's IP litigation practice and sits on their Diversity and Inclusion Committee. She attended Pace University School of Law and clerked for the Honorable Robert Hurley of the United States District Court for the Eastern District of New York. Sapna is the daughter of doctors, so it's not surprising that her practice focuses on life sciences. She is a devoted wife and loving mother of 2 wonderful boys. Having lived on 3 continents, Sapna's life is diversity. I have had the privilege of working alongside Sapna during the 5 years that I have served on AABANY's board. She was the immediate past president before me. She led the organization through the pandemic and surge of Asian hate crimes and was a co-founder of AABANY's Leadership Development Program, which addresses the chronic underrepresentation of Asian American and Pacific Islander attorneys in leadership positions at law firms, companies, and the government. In addition to serving on AABANY's board, Sapna is chair of Women in Bio's Diversity and Inclusion Committee and an adjunct professor at Pace University School of Law. In 2020, Sapna was named by City and State New York as one of the most influential Asian Americans in New York politics and policy. I have been inspired by Sapna's pioneering work with AABANY and commitment to diversity and inclusion in so many ways. I've learned much from her as a leader. I am so happy and proud that the New York City Bar Association has honored her with its Diversity and Inclusion Championship Award.
Hello, I'm Karen, and I'm so delighted to be able to say a few introductory remarks tonight for my great colleague Sapna. A career in the legal profession is always best described as a marathon and not a sprint. But not only is the road long, but it's hot and dusty, and it's not flat either. There are all manner of obstacles for all of us to navigate, both personal and professional. And when we hit the wall and we need a long, cold glass of water, we need a moment to refresh before getting up, dusting ourselves down and carrying on. And what better refreshment than Sapna, a human being, an Asian, a woman who has literally never backed off the fight within the legal profession to live up to the aspirational standards of society for equality, for fairness, and for dignity. Sapna engages all of those who are lucky enough to know her. She makes us feel better. She makes us feel bigger, like we can carry on and we can go again when we face disappointments. And the most striking thing of all the many striking things about her is her stunning authenticity. When you meet her, you get a sense of who she really is and how her personal and professional journey has shaped her achievements. This isn't my line, but it's a great line. Someone said to me recently, you know, people don't wear Armani suits at work anymore. Disguise at work is dead. Instead, true inspirational, both professional and personal, comes from extraordinary tales of ordinary people. And the person that you will meet tonight, or you will meet again, is just that in Sapna. She's an ordinary person who has achieved extraordinary things along the way for those fortunate enough to be on the road alongside her for a moment or two. Not thinking she did anything special or different, but here she is at the absolute pinnacle of the profession and representing the very best of all of us. She doesn't have all the answers. None of us have all the answers, but by sharing so much and so willingly what has worked, what has not worked, where she has completely failed, she's going to help all of us in this room be better tomorrow than we were today. So Sapna, here's to you and take it away.
Good evening, everyone. It's my distinct honor and pleasure to introduce the 2021 New York City Bar's prestigious Diversity and Inclusion Champion Award recipient, Sapna Palla. Sapna is, in short, an extraordinary individual. She is a partner in Allen & Overy's intellectual property litigation practice with more than 20 years of experience in U.S. patent litigation and advising global life sciences clients. She is also a bold, passionate, and vocal advocate for diversity, equity, and inclusion. Her leadership in DE&I is an embodiment both of her professional accomplishments and her personal values. Since graduating from law school, Sapna has forged a successful career in litigation, a practice area where women in APAs have struggled to advance due to the perceived limitations of gender and culture. Sapna started her career as an associate at K. Scholler LLP, now Arlen Porter K. Scholler LLP, and was the only woman in her class to be elevated to counsel on partnership track in her 8th year. In 2014, she joined Wigan Dana LLP as a partner, where she led the firm's life sciences intellectual property litigation team for 7 years and helped to build out the firm's life sciences IP litigation offerings. In July of this year, she joined Allen & Overy, a premier global law firm, as a partner in its growing IP litigation team. Sapna has brought her inherent passion and drive to advance diversity and inclusion for all diverse members of our legal profession by taking on internal and external leadership roles to advance these goals. In addition to driving innovative D&I initiatives in our workplaces, Sapna served as president of the Asian American Bar Association of New York, better known as AABANY, from April 2020 to March 2021, leading the organization to great heights despite the challenges of the pandemic and in the face of the alarming rise of anti-Asian violence and hate. In addition, during her term as president and under Sapna's leadership, AABANY's membership grew to the largest it has ever been, and AABANY gained the distinction of being the largest diverse bar association in the country based on membership. She is also a co-founder of AABANY's Leadership Development Program, which was established to correct underrepresentation of APA attorneys in leadership roles, on the steering committee of the Women in Bio New York Metro and chair of its Diversity and Inclusion Committee, and an inaugural member of Judge Janet Bond Arterton's Intellectual Property American Inns of Court. In all these roles, Sapna's dedication and leadership have led to impactful and tangible changes to increase diversity and inclusion in the legal profession. Sapna's ability to integrate a thriving legal career with her roles as a fearless champion of diversity, equity, inclusion, devoted mother to her 2 boys, wife and daughter, is a testament to her tenacity and serves as a role model for others. In addition to her roles as a highly successful litigation partner and active leader in diversity initiatives at her current and prior firms, Sapna has served as a role model and influencer for diverse and really all members of the legal community throughout her entire career. Sapna's leadership has clearly been instrumental in achieving the goals set forth in the New York City Bar Association's Statement of Diversity Principles. Throughout her career, she has consistently demonstrated leadership in diversity and inclusion initiatives and a focused passion for helping diverse attorneys achieve their potential and career goals, thereby increasing retention and promotion. As I said before, Sapna is an extraordinary individual, and I cannot think of anyone more deserving of this amazing award. Congratulations, Sapna.
Greetings, my beloved Bar of Hope colleagues. I hope you are healthy in mind, body, and soul, and that you have an attitude of gratitude as we are in the week leading up to Thanksgiving. And speaking of an attitude of gratitude, I am excited and thankful for all of the support and hard work that has been rendered in support of one of the 6 pillars of the Bar of Hope: diversity, equity, and inclusion. As many of you know, I am passionate about DEI in our profession. We've come a mighty long way on that front, but yet we still have so far to go. But just know that I am sincerely and immensely proud of all of the efforts by our beloved Bar Association to date. Let me take a moment at this time to give a big shout out to our Executive Director, Bret, a wonderful DEI ally. Let me also give a shout out to the Executive Director of our Diversity and Inclusion Office, James Lewis, for his great work. And also to the committee which chose our Diversity and Inclusion Champion. Thank you for your efforts. And of course, a big thank you to all of our diversity cluster committees at the New York City Bar Association. Thank you, and thank you. And I'd be remiss if I did not, in utmost respect, call out the name of a dearly departed friend and law colleague. I'm speaking of Betsy Plevin. She's a former president of the City Bar and the visionary responsible for the creation of our Diversity and Inclusion Office. So may she rest in peace and power, as we are grateful for Betsy Plevin and her many contributions to our legal community. Today, we are holding one of our signature events at the City Bar, the Diversity and Inclusion Champion Celebration. And I couldn't be more proud of this year's honoree, Sapna Palla. You see, Sapna and I go way back. We professionally grew up together in the same law firm, KAYLA, now known as Arnold and Porter KAYLA. So I actually know firsthand about Sapna's intellect, collegiality, creativity, and kind heart. And if I could just speak to you directly for a moment, Sapna, may I just say that I am so very proud of you and your good works. When I think about it, I just find it so amazing that several DEI leaders have come out of your former firm, my still firm, KAYLA. We've had Tanya Blocker and Jennifer Taiwo, who have served as presidents respectively of the Association of Black Women. We've had Joe Drayton serve as MBBA and National Bar Association president. I'm now leading the City Bar, and you have served with distinction as president of the Asian American Bar Association of New York. My, what an incredible legacy. Please know, Sapna, that I am so excited we are conferring this honor to you. You, like only a small subset of attorneys in this country, have led a bar association during very challenging times. In particular, the COVID-19 pandemic and a time of racial reckoning, including having to endure and fight anti-Asian sentiments and violence in this country. But you were strong, you stayed the course, you helped give voice to the voiceless and help those in the proverbial shadows be seen. So you are indeed deserving of this award. It's prestigious and humbling all at the same time. As both Joe and I are former recipients of this award, I am now ecstatic to welcome you, Sapna, to the City Bar Diversity Champion family. Please be very proud of this honor. Take a moment to rest from all your labor and celebrate, please, but not for too long, because as you know, we still have much work to do in advancing diversity, equity, and inclusion in our profession, and it's all hands on deck.
Sapna, congratulations on the 2021 Diversity and Inclusion Championship Award. As a faculty member and a member of the New York Bar and AABANY, I have had the pleasure of witnessing you lead the charge in many programs, and in particular, the ALDP program. So I know firsthand your commitment to excellence and to advancing the diversity pipeline in the legal profession. And as the clips reveal, you have led with passion and impact. So, Sapna, tell me, what does this award mean to you? And how does it make you feel to know that you are a role model to other attorneys throughout the state and beyond?
LaTANYA, thank you so much for the kind introduction and for being such a good friend and inspiration in all that you do in your leadership roles at BIC and in the legal community. You have contributed so much, and for that, I'm really thankful. I'd like to start out by first thanking the New York City Bar Association for this tremendous honor. I am so humbled, so honored, and quite frankly, stunned that I'm the sole recipient this year and follow in the footsteps of so many amazing recipients who have gone before me, including Sandy Leong, who kindly introduced me today and who has done groundbreaking work in BMS in her role as general counsel. This award is especially meaningful coming from Sheila Boston, who's the first Black woman president of the New York City Bar Association in its 150 years history. Sheila has been a wonderful mentor and friend along the way. I'd like to thank my firm, Allen & Overy, for fostering diversity and inclusion and collaboration in everything that we do as a firm, and for empowering me to do the work that I do. Thank you, Karen, for the lovely introduction. Thank you to AABANY, the Asian American Bar Association of New York, which really shares this honor along with me, for espousing every day diversity and inclusion in better serving our communities. And thank you to my family, my boys, and my husband. I would not be here without you. So LATANYA, what this award really means to me is a recognition of all the many individuals and organizations that have supported me along the way and allowed me to shine. The last 2 years have been incredibly challenging for our communities and for our country as we've been faced with racial reckoning that has been put at the forefront. Moreover, each one of us has faced many challenges, both in our professional and personal lives due to the pandemic. But despite these challenges, what this has really allowed us to do is given us an incredible opportunity to move forward and to progress diversity, inclusion, and equity in our legal community and in our lives. So what I would really hope to convey today, and I think that this is a message that is really simple from my perspective, is let's use this moment in history to think in unusual ways and to be bold and intentional. Let's use this moment to really move forward and use our platforms to encourage and recognize diverse perspectives and grow diverse talent. Let's have those honest and uncomfortable conversations, which are hard, but which are really necessary. There is no doubt that people work harder and achieve more when they know that their organizations care for them and value their ideas. And let's not exclude intentionally or unintentionally in our effort to be inclusive. And what do I mean by that? While we're all working very hard to create an equitable field, it is a fact that there are many in our communities and in fact across the country who are feeling excluded as a result. And that is not the intention here. So it is essential that we work even harder to bridge that divide.
You know, Sapna, you make it sound so easy, but I know how much work you put into this, and you know, and listening to you, you know, you're just so inspirational when you talk about the work that needs to be done. But when you set out on your career path, did you know you wanted to end up where you are today?
That's a great question, and thanks so much, LATANYA. No, I did not. I really did not. I wanted to be a great and effective lawyer. I wanted to learn as much as I could, and I wanted to be really good at my job. What I did not expect was the many twists and turns along the way. Whether it was having children early on in my career, whether it was navigating my pathway in my legal profession and trying to balance work and life, whether it was making the hard decisions to move firms when I was not getting the opportunities that I wanted, and whether it was seizing new opportunities that came along my way. So what I find really interesting is that for women and diverse attorneys, our pathway is never conventional. And there is certainly no set playbook that we can rely on as we figure out what it is that we want to do. But I think the beauty of it is that each of us have had a unique journey. And each of us, as a result of that, can bring different viewpoints to the table. I think as a legal community, we really need to embrace that. I have no doubt in my mind that it will make us all better lawyers, better trusted legal advisors, and foster a better legal community for all of us.
Wow. You know, at a time like this, you know, we are all seeking, you know, advice and experience from leaders like you. And, you know, so for the members of the profession who are in attendance at this gala, what advice can you give them to one day become a leader in our profession and in the New York City Bar?
LATANYA, I have to say I'm incredibly humbled to be seen as a role model and to have received this award. And maybe I can talk a little bit about what I have found valuable and give some advice from what I've learned along the way. So to start with, I think it's really important to build a great network around ourselves, whether it is being part of affinity bar associations, whether it is being part of professional bar associations, whether it is being a part of the New York City Bar Association as an example, because that really allows us to create our networks, to learn, to look at other examples of what leadership can be. I know that, especially for our younger lawyers, given all the demands that we have on our lives, that it's hard to carve out that time. But I think if you do that, it's incredibly rewarding. And I wish my younger self knew that and that I had started this process earlier. But what I have learned is that leadership comes in so many different forms, whether it is a different style of leadership, whether it is a different perspective of leadership, whether it is a form of leadership that does not look or think like you. All of that put together is incredibly important to observe and to learn from, because it allows all of us to listen to diverse perspectives, to listen to ideas that we may not otherwise have had unless we put that group together. So, I've really learned a lot along the way as a result of that. The other thing that I think is really important is that as we grow in our professions, it's equally important to not only do the things that help us become leaders, but to provide the mentorship to others who want to become leaders, who want to grow in their professions. It's incredibly rewarding to be able to do that. And I have learned so much along the way. And I know, LATANYA, you care about that really deeply. And you've conducted your professional life along those lines and have mentored so many young lawyers along the way. I think we learned so much from those experiences. So the advice that I would like to leave, especially for our young lawyers, is don't put limitations on yourself. Don't let others put limitations on you. And that is when you will really grow to be an effective leader.
Wow. So network. Leadership comes in many different forms. Listen to diverse perspectives, mentorship, and no limitations allowed. Thank you, Sapna, for your amazing words. And I'll leave it to you to end us.
Thank you, LATANYA, and for summarizing that so well. I know that those are the principles you conduct yourself by, which is so admirable. Thank you again to the New York City Bar Association for this tremendous honor and for putting together such a lovely evening of celebration. I hope you enjoy the rest of the program, and happy Thanksgiving.
As we conclude our celebration, I just want to say a couple of more thank yous, particularly to our DEI committee and the subcommittee who worked directly with the nominations in sifting through so many different qualified applications of diverse candidates with diverse thoughts and diverse areas of leadership, and landing on Sapna as our champion for the year. So thank you again for being with us. We'll continue to celebrate diversity throughout the year and all of our various champions. Be well and have a great evening. Take care.